Okay, so we are sitting around the table in Whitsett. It is summertime. The salmon run is right now, and this is fresh sockeye salmon that we are packaging, or that everybody else is packaging. And we're going to be talking about uh, drug overdoses and saving lives and some really dark stuff. But Kit here used to work at an overdose prevention center, and he told me that people sometimes overdose more than one time a night. So can you just set the scene first of all?
Yeah, well, I would say it was pretty chaotic, obviously, because you've got.
This is in Ottawa, first of
This
all.
is in Ottawa. It was the first 24-hour supervised injection site that was open 24 hours a day. It started in a little it was a tent and then a trailer.
I actually worked with the Drug Users Advocacy League, which fought for this overdose prevention site because when fentanyl hit the streets, so many people were dying. That they're like, it's not safe for people to use alone. We need to, be able to do this
And
together.
it's pretty well documented that no one's died in any of these sites yet, or I guess maybe they have, but I haven't heard about it. And most reports say that no one's died in these supervised.
So there's
sites.
100% these places save lives.
Yeah, guaranteed. So like in a night, in an overnight shift, which is what I used to work, I'd like start work at like 7 o'clock, finish work at like 7 in the morning kind of thing. And yeah, you're with like the late night crowd, and some nights, depending on what dope is going through or which clients are coming through, it would just be pure chaos, like maybe two overdoses at the same time in this tiny little trailer. So your first thing that you got to do is sort of clear the site, like clear the area. You want to try to secure their possessions too, so that no one's stealing their dope or their personal affairs. And then you're putting oxygen on them. You're checking their heart meter.
So it's not just Narcan.
No, it's not just Narcan. Yeah, you put a little a mask on them, and you're pumping this mask, and you're measuring their blood oxygen level through a little reader on their finger, and then you're injecting them with Narcan. And I mean.
And so you're a former injection drug user yourself, right? Yeah, cocaine, heroin.
Yeah.
But this was before fentanyl hit
That's
the streets?
right. Yeah.
Okay, did
Yeah,
you
and
ever...
it was before there was supervised injection sites. So
Right.
it was actually also like there was a lot of I mean, in a way, like I always thought about that too. That there was a lot of risk involved with shooting up on your own anywhere, in a bathroom,
Yeah, yeah.
just because there was no Narcan or there was no. It wasn't really common at the time.
Okay.
There
So
was
you have saved a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know. I'd
2
have to
dozen?
guess.
3 dozen?
Well, I didn't even work there really that long because you rescued me from my soul-crushing jobs and we came out here to do some land defense, indigenous land defense, anti-pipeline work. But which I'm forever grateful for. Of course, my life is
Yeah,
radically different.
moral of the story is letting me talk you into doing things is a great idea.
Dude, there'd be a lot of naysayers, but I'm definitely an advocate for Crow's last-minute plans. I had 3 days to plan for this trip, and I'm living the best life I could ever imagine. Like the quality of my life has there's no comparison.
Okay, well, I didn't set out to interview about that,
Yeah.
but just now that you said that, like, you want to tell the story? So you were working at the injection site and also...
The injection site was just a job that I was doing in evenings and on weekends. Not like it would be like I'd get like 2 or 3 shifts a week,
Okay, and
Max.
then mostly you were working at the NAC?
Yeah, I worked at the National Arts Center, just selling tickets and just hating my life. But then the overdose prevention site, what I liked about it was that I felt connected. I knew a lot of people through that community, through the recovery.
Through
community.
NA, so yeah, so you... And then Travis, you two know each other through NA, correct?
We know each
Yeah.
other, through 12-step recovery stuff.
Okay, so I interviewed somebody from the Cannabis Substitution Project, they're giving out like high dose edibles to people to help them go through
I
withdrawal.
support that 100%. I had, at the time that I was kicking for what would be the successful time finally, my former girlfriend got put on a methadone program and was on that program, still using drugs, couldn't get out of that lifestyle for another 2 or 3 years until she did Ibogaine. She did Ibogaine down in Mexico. And apparently that helped, but yeah, the methadone was kind of a nightmare for her, to be honest. But for me, I was given like a quarter pound of weed, and that was all I had in like an empty house.
Yeah, so smoking weed definitely can help you get through withdrawal.
People say it wouldn't, but for me it did. Yeah, for sure. Just
Okay.
Because it works as a bit of a pain reliever. It's also a distractor.
Yeah.
You can also kind of
Just change the subjective experience of your pain as well, right?
Totally. A lot of it is mental anguish, you know, when you're going through that stuff. It's physically brutal, but there's a lot of mental anguish, and if you can get really super stoned, it does.
Okay, and so one thing that I'm curious about, because we've been talking about safe supply, and so I was never an opiate user, and so I'm curious about would a endless supply of free heroin save lives?
Maybe in the sense that it's not fentanyl now or benzodope, and that could possibly save lives. I mean, heroin, I guess, is dangerous, and when you mix heroin with other drugs, it's quite dangerous. If you mix it with alcohol or other depressants, you can die for sure. But on its own, you're surprisingly healthy. If you had endless supplies of heroin and money, you'd probably live a pretty healthy life. I know that sounds fucked up, but
it's non-toxic. It's not like meth where it'll wreak havoc on your body.
No,
really.
It's not like methadone. It's not like alcohol. It's not like cocaine. It's not like any of these things that are physiologically really harmful. Heroin's actually, I dare say, it's kind of good for you. And I know that sounds fucked up, but it's like.
But now that people are using fentanyl and carfentanil and benzodope, would heroin cut it anymore, or would
I don't think so.
would people just keep using fentanyl in addition to their free heroin?
Dude, think about it this way: for people today that smoke really chronic, 28% THC indica weed, do you think if they went back to smoking your dad's weed, like some Mexican swag weed that comes in a brick that's dry as fuck, that's already brown with you know what I mean, sticks and seeds, do you think it would do anything for them? Like, it wouldn't. And they wouldn't choose to do it, that's for sure.
Right. Well,
maybe that would help them quit.
Yeah. So, I mean, the vending machine. I mean, and maybe it is. Like, is it better than methadone? I think probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And so, the government spends a lot of money on giving people methadone. Would they be better off just giving people heroin instead of methadone?
I think so. There's obviously huge financial interests in methadone and Suboxone and those companies. Like, going back to my personal story is that when my girlfriend at the time got put on methadone, her drug doctor, I guess, in Montreal at the hospital there, told her that she I would love to verify this, but basically she gets a bonus for every subscription, and it's a subscription, because most people, when they get on methadone, they're using it every day for, sometimes their entire lives.
Yeah, the liquid handcuffs, they call it.
Yeah, it's
right?
fucking deadly. And so if you're a methadone producing company, that's good news,
Yeah.
If you're that kind of of a capitalist.
And then so it's in Ottawa at that time, had the benzodope come out yet?
No, there were people that would use so this is the thing, is at that supervised injection site, people come in, they give you their usually it's like a name, it's like a code name, so it's like a couple letters and a number or something like that, or they'd have their street name or their tagline name, and they tell you what they're shooting, and a lot of people used what's that called? Just they're poly users, so they're using some people are using benzos, some people are shooting Dilaudids, some people are shooting fucking Atomans,
So what do you think would happen if you started cutting dope with DMT?
Holy shit. Yeah, that's a great question. Maybe a spiritual awakening? I don't know. And I don't know. Yeah. I did shoot ketamine once in a really high dose, and
what's that like?
I shot MDMA one time.
What's that like?
I don't recommend it.
No?
No, it was awful. I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was really, really uncomfortable. It was just.
So how many people do you know that have died since the beginning of the opiate crisis?
Personal friends, I would say, a handful, 4 or 5, 6. But through that supervised injection site, people die all the time on the street. People get banned from the site for violent behavior or whatever, not following rules or continually breaking rules, and it's a really hard thing emotionally to do for people that work there, is because you're literally now risking people's lives, saying, okay, you can't come in here and use this service. And so there's outreach, street outreach, but yeah, people. Dude, I'll tell you this: since COVID, I contacted my former boss at it's part of Ottawa Hospitals.
Ottawa Public Health?
Yeah. And so I contacted her to ask her questions because I was really curious about the COVID link because they were always at risk of getting shut down. Doug Ford was cutting their funding like every. They were always announcing that their funding would be cut and that they would have to close down. And so this was insane. You know, everyone was freaking out because they know that the numbers are really good. No one's ever died in one of these places. They provide a really decent service. And so Doug Ford is gonna cut their funding, and then COVID fires up. And because they would test and give vaccines, they got a shitload of money. And so she's telling me, "Oh, we got that COVID money now. Like, we've got a vehicle, state of the art. We got we're opening a new building. Like they got serious COVID money."
And did anyone die of COVID?
No, and that's the thing. She was telling me, and I mean, these are people. And when you and I were talking earlier about the lack of HIV on the streets, but we knew a couple of HIV positive people there. And they would tell you that when they came in because it was good to know. Because sometimes you're cleaning up blood. You know, often you're cleaning up blood. People can't find a vein, and it creates a mess. You know? And then some people also
10 seconds left.
And just shoot blood all over the mirrors and stuff. And so your job is often wiping out people's blood.
Okay, that's we're running out of time.
Oh,
okay.